everybody, it's Christine. It is time for a Scraplift Crafternoon. Let me go ahead and show you real quick the Scraplift. It is by, it looks like Fiona Hogben. It appears that it might have been done for pear tree cut files in the UK. The most notable thing is she's got all these little rosettes on here. So I'm going to try to do some of those. I don't know that I'm going to do as many because she's got probably way more patience than I do, let's be real. But then she's got two little photos here, and then there's like what are those called? They're like acrylic titles. I don't have any acrylic titles, so I'm going to have to stick with something different. But obviously there's 1, 2, 3, layered papers here. She's got some stitching. I don't do stitching, but she did rough up the edges, so I'll probably scuff my edges. So that's what she's got going on. And then what I have picked out is the Hip Kit September 2022 collection, because the pictures I have are my husband. We were in Branson, and he's kind of a thrill seeker, so he loves these rides. I have a video actually, but this is one he kind of like spins you in a circle, and it's like a gyroscope type deal. So he really enjoys it. So I've got a couple pictures, and I thought it went really well. This little piece of paper is the only one that's not from this collection, and it's the Obed Marshall. If you've watched any of my recent videos, I think this will have already been shown. I used every piece of my Obed Marshall Fantastico except this piece. And I thought, that's good for a future layout. Well, look, here we are. We're in the future. So, and then I got like this purple here. And I love this stripe. I'm going to have to cover some of it up, obviously. But it'll go kind of like that. And then I kind of liked, because it's got like amazing. And I'm thinking about maybe like Amazing Thrills or something like that. But it's got these little circular elements I thought I could use instead of the rosettes, the smaller ones. So that's what I'm starting with. I'm going to start making a few of these rosettes first. Well, first I'm going to cut down my bases. I'm lying. I'm going to mount my photo and get my bases cut. And then I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to do these rosettes. So I'll come back on shortly.
Oh, y'all. I don't know if you could tell in my voice in the intro there, I was explaining, my plans and all that. And if I'm 100% honest, I felt like these rosettes were going to be a challenge. And I can hear it in my voice, and they did turn out to be a challenge. What I've done so far is I did cut down the base papers, as I mentioned. I decided not to gut them. While they're gorgeous, and I try to make everything last, I'm also looking at this big stack of collections I'm gathering over here. Even though I've done a layout every single day, I'm still gathering collections. So I've cut my trim to my first little rosette here. I have cut it, and then I've done my little scoring. I did that at 1/2 inch, and then I've folded up the two pieces, and here's where I'm going to start trying to glue these things together. Now, y'all, I might put a link down below for a couple of the tutorials I watched. It wasn't like I've seen rosettes made. I've probably even made some, but it's been so long, and they're not my favorite technique. They're just not. And so I think it knows it. It knows it. So I watched a couple of tutorials. I may show a link below, like I said, but basically, you cut these strips, you kind of score them, and you fold them, and you glue the ends. And then this is where I went completely wrong, y'all. Or not really wrong. I just couldn't get it to work. Like, I've got them scored, and I'm trying to fold it over. You're supposed to just be able to, push it down, and the little rosette makes itself. It's supposed to not be hard. Y'all can see, y'all, I cut out. This was 45 minutes of me dinking around with this goddamn scored piece of paper. So then Tara from the Paper Snob the other day had pulled out some gloobers for something she was doing. I thought, oh, I've got those gloobers. And so I went to my drawer and I got out these gloobers. But y'all, they're probably 10 years old and they really don't stick that much. But they had enough sticky. In some ways it was okay because I thought, okay, no problem. And I've got my little rosette and it's actually going down pretty good. And I'm thinking, okay, this might work. This might work. Y'all, it don't work. I make it just doesn't stick. I get it down there and it just won't stay. And do you see it? It just pops up. It keeps popping up. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And y'all, this was day 1 of this layout. Normally a layout anymore only takes me an hour or so. It really doesn't even take me, and sometimes not even that long. Especially after a 30 days of sketches type deal, because I just get so honestly quick at it. It's one of those things that's kind of a skill. And, if you're doing a lot, you just kind of I don't know what it is. For me, I just start making decisions quicker, and I just can finish a layout quicker. Usually, like I said, in about an hour. Y'all, this one took me 2 full days. And I don't mean 2 full 8-hour days, but I'm saying it took me a while. It took me hours, and it shouldn't have. This wasn't that complicated of a design. All right, so I've got my little rosette. I've got him stuck down on the gloober, and I'm thinking, okay, you're working. Let me get a glue dot, and I'm going to stick it on top. And I also punch a little small circle with my, I think it's a 1/2 inch circle punch from my Stampin' Up. And I punch a little circle and I put that on top. I'm thinking, okay, I've got my first rosette done. And I promise y'all this was probably close to 2 hours into this layout. I cut out so much from the film. Anyway, so I get my little polka dot on top of there and I'm thinking, okay, we're done. We got a rosette done. I'm happy and satisfied. So I start to cut the other one and the darn thing just pops up. Do you see it sitting there? It's not on the thing anymore. Just like, what the heck? I looked over and the darn thing, it just popped completely off of everything. So then I pull out the glue gun, y'all. I pulled out the industrial glue gun. I punched a little circle out of some, it's not really cardstock. It's thicker than that. It's like a piece of cardboard, kind of white cardboard. And I cut a circle out of that and I put some hot glue down on the cardboard. And I'm trying to get this darn rosette to glue down on this white cardboard. And it's kind of working. The only challenge, of course, with hot glue is it's hot and I don't want to burn my hand. So I'm trying to glue it all down and I've got this, I'm squirting this stuff everywhere. And I think I get my little pink topper again and I'm trying to use it. But again, y'all can see I'm struggling with this thing and I finally get it. I mean, it finally decides to stick. But here's the funny part. I'm fixing to start the big one in a second. Y'all, there's going to be a cameo. My daughter's hands are going to appear because this becomes a 2-person job. I have got to message the ladies and tell them I will never do another layout with rosettes again. I mean, I don't know what, I clearly have some kind of a mental block against how to make in rosette. And they're not that hard, y'all. The couple of tutorials I watched, these ladies pop those things together so quick. And I thought, what am I doing? Why am I having such a hard time? And I'm laughing at myself because I hope y'all are laughing with me. I don't know. Some layouts, you just struggle the whole time. And like I said, it's a gorgeous layout, the inspiration, and it's not even that complicated of a design. But for whatever reason, this gosh darn rosettes just got me. All right, so here I've got my bigger one done, and it's actually kind of looking good. And I'm thinking, okay, you popped down nicely. I didn't have to fight you so hard. Now, these ones I did score at 1/4 inch, but here's my daughter's hands. I said, hold that down for me, hold it down. So I could glue it. And then I realized I put the glue on the white cardstock, but I really wanted the yellow to be up, and I couldn't glue the white cardstock to the yellow. So then I needed to put the white cardstock. I thought I said flip it over. Y'all, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but this was such a disaster. It was such a disaster. Anyway, so I glue the white cardstock to the back because that's what I really want to see is I want the yellow to the top. So I'm trying not to glue my daughter's hands. Y'all see she's trying to help me. And let me also tell y'all, this is 5:15 in the morning. I've done called her in here to help me. It's 5:15 in the morning. And she's helping me with these darn rosettes. Oh gosh, I need to compose myself. All right. So anyway, I got my glue gun and I'm gluing it. And I'm trying to get this down here and we're holding it steady. And I said, okay, I got it all done. I think I've got it. I think we're good. And then I go, now I've got it glued to the mat. I've got it glued to the mat. And I'm like, oh God. So I finally get it flipped over. And I take my hot glue again because I'm going to put my pink part on top. There's a little pink circle I had punched out. I think I'm telling her, okay, let's look. Let's see, here's where I realize I got glue all over this expensive glowing mat. Like, what have I done? And I'm trying to use these tweezer deals, and she's like, I don't think I would do that. So I start using the other side. And I'm thinking, I shouldn't scratch this glass mat. I think it's a $200 mat. Like, what am I thinking? Anyways, this whole time I'm holding that darn rosette together, hoping it finally sticks. And it finally does stick. So anyways, here's where I punch out the pink part. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to glue this on top. And y'all, my third rosette does go better. I don't know if it's all the mistakes I made, but I finally did get the third rosette made. And they're all glued together now, and they're all kind of, assembled. So I'm like, thank the Lord, I've got that done. Well, I go to glue this piece of paper down, and I realize I have forgotten to scuff the edges. So I glue this whole layout, y'all. Anyways, I go to set it down, everything, I'm making it straight, and everything's looking good. And that's when I realized I haven't scuffed the darn edges. So now I'm gonna have to scuff the edges. I turn the camera off because I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I scuff the edges off camera by lifting them, and then I do the other piece, and I've got everything done. So now I'm gonna start gluing stuff down, but I got to figure out where I want it. I do cut out me kind of going back and forth as much as I do. I do this. You just saw me switch the two rosettes because I'm like, okay, I think I need some space. I end up doing that about 4 times, y'all, because I'm thinking I want my title like she does underneath those 2 pictures. And I'm thinking, but I don't know if I want the big one down there, but it just didn't look balanced to me with the big one in the top. So I do end up putting that big one, not the big one, sorry, the medium-sized one in the lower right. I do actually stick with that design, even though I did flip them back and forth several times. Okay, I have finally got that stuff glued down, y'all. Now, under the photograph, because there is so much dimension with these rosettes, I did have to put 2 layers of my craft foam. So I do have 2 layers of craft foam underneath the pictures. I've gotten my title off my chipboard deal there. It says amazing, and I'm now spelling out the word ride. Now, I start a little bit lower than I end up, so you'll see me start here, but I'm going to end up moving that up kind of underneath the ing part. And I like how this turns out. I think this looks real cute. Again, like I said in the beginning, this is a love-hate relationship with this goddamn layout because I think it turned out adorable, if I'm honest. It is a lot more dimension than I typically do for my albums because with the rosettes, I did score the medium-sized one also at 1/2 inch. So my little and my mediums were scored at 1/2 inch, and the big was scored at 1/4 inch. Well, when you score them farther apart, they become taller. Just so you understand, when you're making the rosettes, if it's a 1/2 inch, it becomes basically a 1/2 inch tall. So now I can have a 1/2 inch deep layout, if you want to think of it like that. So I've got my title done, and now this is where I mentioned I was going to get those little round elements, and I'm kind of putting those where she had smaller rosettes, which there was just no way, y'all, I was doing any more rosettes. After I finished the second one, my daughter goes, do you have to do any more? And I said, I have to do at least 3. It'll look weird without at least 3. So I did have to do the third one. But anyway, on my chipboard, I also had the little stars, which worked out perfectly because she had little stars on hers. So I've gotten into that and stuck those on there. Now I'm kind of going through ephemera. I thought initially I was going to use flowers like she did above the pictures, but I really didn't have enough, and truthfully, they kind of looked a little too feminine to me when I started pulling them out. So I'm going to end up with something different up there. I pulled out that flower thinking maybe, and I'm looking for stuff to go in the center of these rosettes. She had like little, hers was a Christmas layout, so she had like a reindeer and like some little Christmas animals. I'm going to end up with, this collection did have a couple of animals, so that was kind of cute. I found this little hot air balloon, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a ride, and there's a little dog in it. And then there was one that was kind of perfect. It's a little cat hiding in a box, and it says, be brave on it. So I stuck that down there on the lower rosette. And I've got that little hot air balloon, and I'm kind of, like I said, I'm going through this ephemera. I pulled those flowers out at the top there thinking I might use them, but I did find ticket. And I was really excited about that. So I thought, oh, that looks perfect. I'll use that ticket. And I do end up using the ticket. I don't use the flowers. So now I'm kind of looking, do I want the hot air balloon in the middle or not? I'm kind of thinking, do I go back and forth? And I stick with where I've got it right now. And then I have a little word that says, this is epic on the upper left rosette there. And I am going to glue that down. And I'll end up finding a little piece of chipboard that says OMG, and I'll put that on top of that as well. I'm going to have to glue this hot air balloon down. It has to have a few little layers because of the dimensions of the rosette. So I kind of cut that out because I just add some foam and some foam tape and all that, and y'all don't really have to see all that. But I just basically had to glue that down on there. Now, here's where I'm gluing down my little, this is epic. And I've got, like I said, I'll have to come back in there with that OMG. I don't know if I do that on camera or not, to be honest with you. Anyway, so now I'm kind of going through, and I'm looking at this. I got a little puffy heart here. I thought about putting more of these puffy hearts, but I just end up putting just one on the little hot air balloon dog deal. But here is where I'm gluing down the ticket, or I'm going to stick the ticket, and then I find that little tag thing there, and I thought, I'll put the location and the date and stuff on that. And I'm going through the rest of this stuff, and I think, do I pull off any more puffy stickers? I think maybe no. I don't think I pull any more off. I'm honestly not sure. I'm looking at it, though. I'm thinking, should I not? The thing is, with the little confetti background paper, it would make you lose some of the little small pieces, so I decided not to do it. But I do, like I said, find this OMG on there at some point. I don't remember now when I do it, but I will find it and put it above the words, this is epic. I do find the little words, remember this, and I thought, okay, I like that, and I'm going to add that underneath the word ride. I'll just glue that down with some wet glue. And let me think, do I put anything else on camera? Like I said, I'm not really sure. Oh, I add one more thing on top of the hot air balloon, but I honestly don't know if it's on camera. I find a little chipboard piece that's like a little banner looking thing that says doing it all. So I'll put that on top of the hot air balloon, but I'm not sure I show you guys that. This is where I find the OMG, and I put that above the this is epic on that rosette. And y'all, that's basically all I do except that little banner I put on the hot air balloon there. And I mean, I just didn't have the I didn't have the gumption to do anything else to it. But in the sense, I think it looks great anyways. So there's the slow down, and I'll show you guys the close-ups. It shows the great deal of dimension on there. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it through, and hopefully you laughed, because I dang sure laughed at myself after being so frustrated with myself. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check out the other ladies. We should have a little playlist down there. And we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.